Perfect. All right. What seemed like it would never get here. We are now officially rolling into our post-race press conference for the Coca-Cola 600. We've now been joined from our race-winning team, crew chief Jonathan Hassler, and also Michael Nelson from Team Penske. Thank you both for joining us. We will start with questions. If you have questions, raise your hand. We'll work to get a microphone to you. And if you can help me by keeping your hand up when we're asking for questions, that'll help me get the microphones to you. So we will start with Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Let's start with Michael. What's the emphasis been on to sweep this weekend for Team Penske? And after the win yesterday at Indy, was there any change in mindset going into the weekend of, hey, let's give Roger this first sweep of the weekend?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that changed, but definitely we keep each other under pressure for those doubles, and so something we really wanted to do. We've had a chance to win the All-Star in the 600 before, but to get the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 all in one weekend is pretty amazing. And so, yeah, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to deliver that one after the big win this past weekend.
And then this question's for both of you. Ryan's ran really well last year. You look at the stats. I mean, he did everything but win a race, but overall the performance was really good. When he's doing that and the wins aren't there, what have you guys had to do to kind of keep his spirits up? And what has he been like behind the scenes? Has he been normal Ryan, or has it been, beating himself up?
Yeah, man, and we believe in him, and we've talked to him about that, and we know he's right there. It's just circumstances at times, and we've been really close a lot of times, and tonight everything worked out well. So.
Yeah, from my seat on that question, we kind of looked at it in the off season, and there was a little bit of a problem. We were able to run well and win a lot of stages, but we weren't able to kind of finish the races off. So. We kind of did a few things different in the off season. I think Ryan's been working, really hard on just kind of staying calm and composed, and he's been working out really hard, in the weight room to make sure he's, mentally and physically as prepared as he can be for the end of these races. And I think it showed today. He was calm from start to finish. So I'm really proud of the improvement he's made there.
All right, before we go to our next question, I did fail to mention Michael's title, which is President of NASCAR Operations. So just so you guys have that in your reporting, we'll go to Mike Hembry up here up front.
And you obviously had the best car, but you had to go through several restarts. You had to come back from fourth place. What was critical there in the last 50 miles or so that made all that work?
Yeah, honestly, I think my focus probably the last, third of the race really was just kind of keeping up with the racetrack. This track changes, from day to night, probably more than any other track that we go to. And I wanted to make sure that we kind of stay the best car. So we had to make some decent size adjustments there at the end to keep the balance of the car. And, fortunately, we were able to do that and maintain our speed.
All right, we're going to go upstairs to the press box for a question from Jim Utter.
Jim Mutter, motorsport.com. For Jonathan, there's been a lot of talk, of course, this season with Ford maybe perhaps being at some disadvantage at downforce tracks. I just wondered, did you have concerns about your competitiveness coming into this race? And do you think a lot of your fellow competitors will be looking at you after Ryan's performance tonight?
Yeah, I think starting the year on the mile and a half at Las Vegas, we felt like, last fall at Las Vegas, we were probably capable of winning in the 12, and Joey was able to win in the 22. And then, we went there with some changes to all the manufacturers, earlier this year, and we weren't nearly as competitive. So we've had to go to work. I think, if you look at the whole, all the different tracks, we've had, tracks that were our strengths last year. We were, have been a little bit weaker. Tracks that, we were, not as strong at last year. We've been a little bit better. and we're just kind of focused on continuing to, make our stuff better week in and week out and kind of let the results kind of take care of themselves. So I'm certainly proud of the progress we've made at the mile and a half over the last few months.
All right, we'll come back downstairs to Kelly.
Kelly CrandallRacer.com. Jonathan, obviously to your right. Obviously a huge relief for Ryan, as we saw, to get back in victory lane. But what about for you? Your first Cup Series win, and it comes in a crown jewel event.
Yeah, it's a huge relief. I tell people a lot. We talk about the pressure of the playoffs, and I tell people, try to explain that our playoffs last year started, 8-10 weeks before the playoffs actually started, because we were the highest car on points, but we knew there was going to be a lot of different winners. So we were our focus, our kind of. You kind of have to play things a little bit more conservative when you're in that position. And now we're in a really good spot with the win that we can go out and try maybe some different concepts that we have at some tracks coming up, and certainly, branch out and try to be a little bit better. So certainly relieved.
All right, additional questions? I might have missed a hand or two. Okay, we'll go to Bob.
Bob Parker's Fox Sports. Jonathan, are you relieved or excited after what's, I imagine, been a kind of a long, about 50 races?
Yeah, probably relieved more than excited at this point. I think the excitement will maybe come in the next few days, but yeah, certainly glad to get a win and get ourselves kind of locked into the playoffs. And like I said, give us the opportunity to go out and kind of stretch our legs a little bit and maybe to continue to make this race team better.
All right, any final questions for Michael or Jonathan? Okay, we'll go to a follow-up from Jordan.
This question's for Jonathan, or I guess both of you. Over the final few laps, you guys have been in this position with Ryan close. Were you kind of waiting for the bottom to fall out, for something to go wrong, just because that's the way it's been over the last year and change?
Are you gonna make me answer that?
I'll answer too, but yeah.
Look, any race when you're 10 to go, you're worried about the bottom falling out, and obviously, when you have a bit of a streak there where you're trying to break that losing streak, that you're always worried about anything that could happen, right, all the way until crossing the taking the checkered flag. So, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be human if we weren't nervous about getting through that last 10.
Yeah, I was certainly nervous. I kind of thought about it a couple different times. I think we had restarts at 35 to go and I don't know 25 or 30 to go, and I think in a lot of positions, a lot of other crew chiefs probably would have been talking to their drivers and pumping them up, and I don't feel like I have to worry about that with Ryan. I was certainly kind of just thinking about like you said, the bottom falling out, what was going to happen next, if we were going to get a caution, what the scenario was where we might have to come pit again. So certainly just focused on what would happen next and how we'd react.
All right, any additional questions before we wrap? All right, no additional questions in the press box. All right, for Jonathan and Michael, congratulations to you both. I think it'll be a big week at Team Penske this week.